Several video clips have been used in this production to help illustrate the message I'm trying to share. I'm in no way claiming these videos to be my own and give full credit to the creator. Now this is new material I'm coming up with, Noah's Ark. This is the most hardest one I ever had to figure out. But able for you to understand this, you have to go back to the first commandment. Is God said, have no other God but him. We have a jealous God. And able for you to understand Noah's Ark, you got to remember the first commandment. I'm going to give you my understanding of my conclusion, how I came. And I had to go to God and pray for the understanding. And at this time, once again, I'm just thinking out loud. And I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. Have a good day.
Stories is that of Noah's Ark, where God instructs a pious man named Noah to build an ark and save 2 of every animal during a great flood that will eradicate sinful humanity. As well as in the Bible, a version of the story also appears in the Quran, and a similar tale from ancient Mesopotamia, the Epic of Gilgamesh, is considered the oldest surviving work of great literature. But despite how widespread the story is, could it ever truly happen? This is Unveiled, and today we're answering the extraordinary question: is Noah's Ark theoretically a story didn't happen? There have been various studies made, but there simply isn't the scientific evidence to suggest that there was ever a flood large enough to completely absorb the entire planet and wipe out almost all of humanity. That isn't to say that large-scale catastrophic floods didn't happen, they just weren't that large. One such contender for the incident, which might have inspired the Noah's Ark story, is the melting of the world's glaciers after the last ice age, which caused, amongst other things, the Black Sea to overflow in around the year 5600 BC. It's also believed, however, that this particular event, and could it ever have been logistically plausible? According to the measurements given in the book of Genesis, this monumental boat was 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits tall. Students at the University of Leicester in the UK have worked out that a boat this size would in fact have been large enough to float. And, crucially, it would have been able to hold up to the 70,000 animals suggested to have been on board. They calculated one ancient cubit as 48.2 centimeters, so in today's money, the ark was 144 meters in length, or 472 feet. The team then found that 70,000 animals is around 50.5 million kilograms in mass, more than 50,000 tons. Before determining that the ark, built to biblical proportions, provided that it was exceptionally well built, could have coped, housing all the animals that God instructed Noah to save. We also know that it's certainly possible to build a boat of this size and with these dimensions, at least with today's technology. The ark as it is in the Bible would come in smaller than the Titanic, for example, which was almost double as long at 269 meters. It would also have been significantly smaller than the largest ship ever built, Seawise Giant, a behemoth of a boat built in the 1970s, which was 15 meters longer than the Empire State Building is tall. Crucially, as well, unlike both Seawise Giant and the Titanic, correct, animal welfare quickly becomes the biggest issue facing Noah and his family, since according to the Bible, the only people on the ark were Noah, his wife, his sons, and their wives. That's just 8 people to take care of 70,000 creatures, all of which will have very varied diets and needs. Keeping predators and prey separate would naturally be of paramount importance, as well as keeping the predators separate from each other. Then there's the issue of providing enough food to feed everything for the duration, which, unless every single animal converted to eating fish and there was some sort of incredibly effective method of catching fish on board, would also the ark would hold all of the animals it was supposed to, but their well-being and the logistics of their project are impossible to manage. What's worse, there is some debate on exactly how long the Great Flood lasted for in Noah's story, with some parts of the Bible citing 150 days rather than 40, and other interpretations even arguing that it lasted for an entire year. The task at hand gets more and more difficult. Then, and that's before we even consider that there are many more animals on Earth today than there were when Noah is said to have lived, today, there are an estimated 6.5 million species of land animals, which makes at least 13 million individual creatures on the ark. And that's before we account for Noah's clean, unclean stipulations.
Welcome back, brothers and sisters who are studying with me in the Word of God. Now, the day now is June the 20th, 2001. But like I said, I come with a new material is Noah's Ark. That is one of the hardest ones I ever had to figure out. But like I was just saying, I'm gonna tell you about Noah. I'm gonna tell you in a different way. If you try to figure this out in the flesh, you're not gonna figure out. But you gotta go into the spirit world to understand Noah. But like I was just saying, I'm gonna teach you. One of the greatest commandments that God have gave us is God said, do not have no other God but Him. We have a jealous God. It came to a time in life that everybody was believing in different gods. Everybody was believing in different gods throughout the whole world. The people were believing in different gods. Every person, man and woman, each one had a different God. It was sort of like today's how people is. It ain't gods. Like we have different teams, like football teams. You got some people believe in the Miami Dolphins, some people believe in Dallas. Tennessee Tiger. It's all kind of different teams that everyone believe in. But this was a time that people were believing in the gods. And like I just said, God is a jealous God. Now, we have people today now, like I know, at that time, they was all believing in different gods and stuff. Like for example, we had people believing the animals God. Like God of the earth as different birds. You have people believing God of the land, like different animals of the land. Then you have people believing in different animals, different insects. At that time, people were believing in them as gods. You know what I'm saying? But God was a jealous God. And I'm going to show you how it went down. Now you can try to understand Noah's Ark as for in the flesh. You're not going to understand that. I'm about to take you to the spirit world for you to understand Noah's Ark. Okay. Then, I'm going to take this and I'm putting it in two different worlds. We can take this and we can put it in the spirit world or we can put it in the flesh. Let's start with the flesh world. As for Noah's Ark, the boat. I go to boat. I'm going to draw a boat right here. I go to boat. I'm going to take this and put it in the flesh world. Put an F right there for flesh. I'm going to put that in the flesh world. Now, it seems like it would be impossible, like they said, like science might say, it might be impossible for one to put all these animals on a boat. You know what I'm saying? It might be impossible for you to feed them. It might be impossible for you to even gather all of them animals. But I know what everyone said, with the will of God, everybody supposed to just let go. And just go on with your life and just believe in it. But I'm one of them type of person, right? I'm one of them person that I'm going to try to figure out. I mean, for some reason, I'm going to figure stuff out. And I'm going to figure this out in the right way that it's supposed to be possible. Now, in the will of God, I don't really think, in my opinion, I don't think it's possible for you to do this. I don't think so. But in the understanding of God, in the spirit of God, I'm going to show you how I made it possible. Now, as far as the understanding in the spirit of God, let's go to my new world now. In the understanding in the spirit of God, here go Noah's Ark once again. This is in the spirit world now. Put S up there for spirit world. Now I'm going to show you how the spirit world took place. The people of the world, man and women, started believing in all these different gods. Gods of the earth, animal, and all that. God was finna destroy the world, but he seen one man in his fable was Noah. I'm gonna put Noah right here. He seen one man in his fable with Noah. He related to Noah. He told Noah that he gonna destroy the world if people don't stop. Noah begged God, cause he seen good in some people. He begged God to not destroy the world. You know what I'm saying? God gave Noah some time to try to get to the people. Now, as for when it's talking about 40 days and 40 nights. Now, as for 40 days and 40 nights, it's only speak of spirit world. When you talk about 40 days and nights, God sent knowledge down to Noah to try to get to the people, for them to stop believing in these false gods and stuff. And Noah first went out speaking to the people, trying to get them to understand the message that God was going to do. God was going to destroy the world. But Noah only knew he was a man with a little short time on earth. And he knew right then there was going to be no hope. That's why they said they sent the bird out the first time, and the bird came back with no leaf or nothing. He did not find land. He didn't find hope. Noah was not no hope. But Noah ended up being a wiser man. You know what I'm saying? Now, with a wise to understand what Noah did, Noah built the ark. Now, he built a big old ark. Now, they go to the ark Noah built. Now, this is the spirit world here. Noah actually built the ark. You know what I'm saying? People seen him build this ark, his family built the ark and everything. But Noah knew this, that as he lived on this earth, that he don't have time to speak to the people. But by him building this ark, it's just like a statue. It's just like the pyramid or something. He built the ark, and on the ark he could have wrote that man. He could have wrote something on the ark, letting the people know God told them if they don't stop, He's gonna destroy the world or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they don't stop believing in other gods, He's gonna destroy the world. Now that could have took place right there. Now God seen favor in what Noah did by building the ark. As far as putting animals on the ark, no. Animals never came on the ark. It was an ark that Noah built and relate to the different gods that everybody was believing in. You know what I'm saying? That's how the animal come in the picture. It's the different gods that people was believing in. It actually was not, it actually no animal came on the boat. It's just the gods they were believing in by Noah building the ark and showing the people that God's gonna destroy the world. And time, Noah passed away, and generation came by, and everybody came and synced the ark. Throughout generation, they all believe in that, and then they stopped believing in other gods, and that's how everything could have came possible by how Noah built the ark and changed the world by changing people from believing in all these different kinds of gods. He built a statue. Now that's how I see how Noah's ark is possible. No other way. Now I hope you enjoy my study. Now if you enjoy my study, please once again tag it to other people. Let other people see it. Because the only way I can get this out, I need your help to help me get this out. Now once again, you know, I'm just thinking out loud.
An alpaca.
The 6.5 million species of land animal are, in reality, only those we actually know of. Most naturalists and scientists concede that there could still be thousands of animal species on Earth we've yet to discover. And the prospect of rounding even a tiny percentage of all those up and shepherding them into one place, well, it would take hundreds of people, multiple generations. So, say you had at your disposal a Seawise giant style Titan of the Seas. Would the Ark be possible today, even then? At almost every stage of the project, the answer is a resounding no. It doesn't matter how much more advanced our technology is than Noah's was, nor the fact that we'd probably assemble a larger team, from collecting an example of every single species to feeding, cleaning, and caring for those creatures. It just isn't going to happen. The modern-day epic boat builder obviously wouldn't have dinosaurs to contend with, but even so, that's why Noah's Ark isn't really possible.
He has given us